Okay, so today I'm here with Emily Moll, who I met in Geneva, and we were just saying we haven't actually seen each other for the last 3 years, but we have been in touch on Facebook, and I've been following your journey with eager eyes, Emily. So if you could start by introducing yourself just briefly and telling us what you were doing in your previous career and what you're doing now.
No worries. So my previous career, I was in human resources for about, say, 10 years. I worked in London, Switzerland, France, and I just kind of had enough, basically, which you'll find out why, I guess, later. I just thought I'm gonna do everything I've ever wanted to do, and I've now got my own business. I'm now a yoga teacher, so a complete switch around from corporate life, and yeah, just living in Norfolk, which I didn't think was going to happen, but yeah.
So a lifestyle change as well. And
Complete lifestyle
was
change.
there a moment at which you sort of felt that now, yeah, definitely it's time to change, or has it been a gradual process?
To be honest, it was more a culmination of events. So I was in Switzerland. I walked out of a 10-year relationship, so a decade-long relationship, which obviously was just terrible. It was heartbreaking. So I had that, and then I kind of threw myself into work a little bit. So I think it's always when you come out of something like that, you need to kind of keep busy. So I was obviously going out more. I was training for triathlons. I was working in this corporate job, and it was just all too much. And I found you don't realize it at the time, but I kind of threw myself a bit too much into work. So I was working all the time. I had a very large client group spread over Europe and the US, and I absolutely loved it. But I think I was doing too much, and I ended up having a bit of a burnout. So I remember one evening I was training for the Geneva half marathon, and I'd got like 1K into my run, and I just couldn't even put a step in front of each other. And I was like, well, there's something wrong here. I couldn't sleep. I was losing weight. I was just an emotional wreck. Every now and then I was just bursting into tears for no reason. Had a couple of meltdowns at work, and I was like, well, this isn't ideal. So I remember going to the doctors, and I was obviously explaining what was happening. I was like, can you just kind of sort me out, please? Because I need to kind of get back to it. And she just said I had too much adrenaline in my body, and so I couldn't burn off that adrenaline. So I'd find at the end of a day, I'd come out of work, or I'd be at home and I'd just be shaking. So what on earth is going on? And so yeah, that was fun. And she just said, you need to stop right now, because otherwise you're going to do some kind of irreparable damage to my body. And I was like, right, okay, so maybe I need a break. And she's kind of signed me off. I had, I think, a month off, and I had like a couple little holidays in there, and I had a break and just kind of tried to recharge and realize what I wanted to do with my life. And I just realized I'm not really happy. I needed to get out of Switzerland. I needed to just kind of, I don't know, just, it sounds really cliche, but like find myself. Do you know what I mean? I just needed to stop doing everything, stop training, stop working, and yeah, so it was kind of, it was that. And then I ended up doing a ski season. So I kind of quit my corporate job, and I thought, well, I love the mountains. I'm going to go up, do a ski season. So I was head of HR for a chalet firm. Loved being in the mountains. You just can't beat it. It was one of the best experiences, I think, of my life. Everyone can go and do a ski season, honestly. And I remember one evening I was watching The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, the film where he goes traveling. And it was just, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go traveling again. I'd been traveling before, like back in 2005. And I just thought, I'm just going to go. And then the day after, I booked a 6-month trip around Latin America. And then that was kind of it, really. So, yeah, and then for, I guess, the last couple of years, I've been not a bum, but I've done a couple of seasons. I've done lots and lots of traveling. I climbed to Everest Base Camp. I then obviously went to India, trained to be a yoga teacher, and all of this stuff. Yeah, it was just accumulation, really, of, I guess, trying to find my niche, and what I wanted to do. And so while I was on my second ski season, I just realized, I actually really like doing yoga. So I refound it when I was in Costa Rica, just this little yoga studio in Tamarindo, and I just fell in love all over again with it and how it makes me feel, because I'm a bit of a hothead and I'm a perfectionist. I put so much pressure on myself, and doing yoga kind of evens that out, I find. So I'm a lot more kind of chilled out than what I was before. So yeah, I just thought, well, why don't I do something with that? I had no intentions of being an actual yoga teacher. I thought I'm just going
Mm.
to go to India, learn a bit more about it and see what happens. And it just happened that I came home in December. So after I then did a bit more traveling around Sri Lanka, and I just did a couple of classes for my mates, just local in the town in Sheringham, and they got full up. And I was like, okay, so I'll just keep doing these. And then everyone was like, oh, can you do another night? So I was like, yeah, okay. So I did a Monday night as well. It was a Wednesday. And then it just kind of it ended up just exploding. And then I'm now in a couple of more the surrounding towns like Albury and Cromer. And it's what I do now. So it's really nice, though. It's nice to like wake up and be like, oh, I get to teach yoga today. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of where I am now. So I'm now back in Norfolk after all of that. Just yeah, happy, which I think is the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And your adrenaline levels are back to
Yes,
normal,
I'm back
I
to
think.
normal
Yes.
now. Yeah.
That's good. And what do you think was the biggest challenge you faced in the changes that you've made?
I think I think it's the same with making any kind of life change. I think for me it was like my own kind of sense of failure, like walking at like when you think, oh, I kind of had it all. I don't know. I had a relationship, had the job, and I was kind of happy on the, like for an outside looking in, but inside I was like, oh, just so unfulfilled. So I think for me it was like just letting all that go and just kind of taking a leap into the unknown. Yeah, I think, and oh my God, what are people going to think? You always kind of worry about stuff like that. But to be honest, I just think, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen? And that's basically what I base most of my important life
Oh,
decisions
good.
on
Okay.
now. What's the worst that could possibly happen? Just
Yeah.
go for it. I'd rather live a life without regrets and just knowing that I'd given it a go. And, if it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
you're going to fix it, right? You're just going to get back onto that's not your path. So that's what
Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah.
swearing.
Yeah. The worst case scenario, I guess, is never as bad as we thought it
Exactly.
might
You
be.
never,
So yeah.
and the thing is, we all have those days where we're like, oh my God, how am I going to get over this or fix this problem? And you always do. There's always a solution. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, you know what? I've got through tough times before. This is just like, it's just another little road bump. Well, deal with it.
Sounds like a great attitude to have. And I mean, the yoga lifestyle, I guess, is very different, or the yoga teacher lifestyle, to sort of the HR corporate office life.
Yeah.
How have you found that change?
I made a very smooth transition.
Okay.
It's been really nice, just waking up. I mean, much as I loved my job, like, don't get me wrong, and I kind of thrive on it. I thrive off that pressure, but I kind of it can turn into a little bit of a negative for me. Like I said, if I'm not self-aware, I will just go with it, and I will, So it's nice to kind of not, I don't know, just be doing something I love. And I think yoga is a gift. So, I have so many of my students coming up to me and saying, oh, thank you so much. You've really helped me, whether it's with that anxiety or, lower back pain, whatever it is. It feels really nice to kind of be helping people. Whereas HR, we used to say it can be a little bit of a thankless job, because if you think of HR in your company, you only ever really see them when, when the shit hits the fan, or you've got to do something awful like make redundancies, or, you've got some kind of performance issue. And it's just like, no matter how well you handle it, you've always got that like negative connotation. Whereas with yoga, it's the complete opposite. It's all positive, and it's kind of, it's completely different. And I don't have a massive emails every morning.
Yeah,
When
just
I'm
PowerPoint presentations and meetings and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Excellent. And you mentioned the challenge there. What about sort of the support that you got to make it easier for you?
I guess like the obvious channels, like my parents are really understanding. I mean, I think my dad secretly is like, what on earth is she doing? But my mum's just like, yeah, just go with it. It's nice to have that. It's not nice not to have that pressure, like, especially, when you get to over 30 and you're a female, and it's like, oh, you should be having babies, and, and it's like, I don't feel ready for that. I don't know if I'll ever feel ready for it. Maybe who knows? But it's nice to have those parents that aren't kind of imposing those traditional kind of values onto me. I mean, I've met so many people on the way, and I think you realize as well, when you're traveling, you meet so many like-minded people, and everyone's just so supportive, and it's just, yeah, it's just fantastic. You know, my friends at home, everyone's just like, they just like hearing about my little adventures and what I'm doing. They all come to my classes. So it's really nice, you
Oh,
know.
that's great.
The local community has been amazing. You know, it's just been, I don't know, it's like, you know, welcoming me with open arms. It's just been lovely. And I think as well, just knowing myself, I'm very independent and I know I can support myself, you know, not, so I know, you know, I'll always be okay. Do you know what I mean? So
Oh, fantastic.
that's
Well,
good.
congratulations. It sounds, yeah, it sounds really, and I guess the yoga community is sort of a warm, welcoming, positive place to be as well. So it's,
Yeah, but for the most, you know,
yeah.
there's like competition like in any kind of business, but I just tend to not. It used to get to me a little bit, but I just don't even think about it anymore because I'm like, well, I'm on my path, they're on theirs, and you know, and I'm doing well. So obviously, what I'm doing is the right thing. You know, my students are happy, so that's all that matters.
Absolutely. And it sounds like it happened very organically rather than you deciding to be a yoga teacher
Yeah,
and then trying to get advertise and get clients. You sort of had the
yeah,
clients
it
before you
just
even started.
happened.
So, yeah.
And I think as well, like living in like, a local community, it's all word of mouth. So it doesn't matter what I put on Facebook or social media. At the end of the day, it's people talking to each other in the supermarket or on the phone, you know, like, oh, it's yoga, you know, it is what it is. So to me, that's even better because it means people are talking about it, and it's, yeah, I'm just really happy.
Oh, that's great. And that's, I guess, it's then quite a local business. So, do you have thoughts of bringing that online or sort of, you know, potentially moving in the future? How do you see that?
Yeah, I'm at the minute, to be honest, I'm just rolling with it. I'm just seeing what happens because I never thought this would happen. I ran a big event back in the summer solstice. It was a big open air yoga event the Priory, so it's like a little local ruin. And I had about 70 of my students come to that, which was just out of this world. And I'm running another one in the autumn equinox, so I really like doing the big open air events. I'm just seeing how it goes, really. And on a daily basis, I'm just getting so many new ideas. And for me, and knowing how I am, it's more of a struggle of just getting them down on paper and then kind of prioritizing and seeing what I want to do with it, you know, because I don't want to get myself into that whole where I was before, where I'm like, you know, and the adrenaline's all in the body because yoga's not about that. So yeah, I'm just kind of just letting it run and seeing what happens kind of naturally first, really. Yeah, I've got a clothing line. I never thought I'd have that. So that's
Okay, yeah.
It's nothing better than walking through town and someone's wearing one of my t-shirts or hoodies, and I'm
And
like,
that's
yes.
come through the yoga.
Yeah, from the yoga. So my yoga company is called Kali Yoga. So she's like the goddess of time, change, power, destruction. She's like, and I always say she's the ultimate badass. So she's, you know, that kind of that fierce feminine. And for me, I really she resonates with me because I'm not, you know, I'm not like one of the other goddesses, like there's Lakshmi and all these like beautiful goddesses, and they're all so good. Like we've all got that dark side, and I know I have, you know, and I'm the kind of person, if you're going to say something to me, I'm going to call you out on it if I don't like it. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of like that whole Kali because I think we should be like that. We shouldn't, especially as females, why should we sit back and just look, yeah, okay, you know, don't do it. Just like do what you want to do. And yeah, so that's where kind of Kali came from. So that's, I don't know if you can see. Can you see it?
Excellent advertising. Yeah, I'll put a link as well to your site.
Yeah, so there she is there. So whenever
great.
she's pretty noticeable. So whenever I see her in town, I'm like, there she is. Yeah, and everyone again's really embraced it, I think, as well. That kind of whole message as well of being, you know, that kind of strong and powerful in your life, you know, it's not just in yoga kind of thing.
Well, it seems like it's more harmonious now than your life and your work, actually. It seems to all fit together.
Yeah, exactly.
And what would you say is the best part of your lifestyle and your work today?
I think it's just waking up every day. I don't have that Monday moment, you know, when you wake up and you're like, oh shit, I've got to get, you know, you've got to peel yourself out of bed and you've got to attack those emails and you don't know what's, you know, waiting for you in the office. I really like that because I know I'm going to get up, I'm going to go and teach yoga to a bunch of people that want to be taught as well, you know, and that love it. So it's so nice to just share something that I love that's personally helped me. So I know the power of it. I know it's going to help, you know, whatever, not obviously yoga's not going to, you know, heal the world, But for you personally, if you've got like a little problem or something, I find it really helps you it helps clear your mind, and it helps you be a bit more kind of on equal pegging. So it makes me a lot less emotional, I think, than what I used to be. But yeah, it's just nice to just wake up and just do something I like. Not that I didn't like my old job, but I love yoga, so it
And how
is.
much do you do? How many classes are you doing per week?
So at the minute, so it's summer, so I've got some open air classes. So I have, I think it's 14, 15 classes a week, but normally I have about 11, and I have a couple of private clients as well. So, and that might not sound like a lot, but it is. It's really, it's quite physically challenging at times. Like I can get quite tired. That would probably be, I would say that's the only drawback. I need to watch what I'm eating and make sure I'm resting enough. I'm the queen of afternoon napping now. So and there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes, obviously, with lesson planning and, making sure, you're giving the students the best class that they could have. Why should they part with their hard-earned cash? I want to make it worth their while. So yeah.
Oh, great. And I guess final question then is, what piece of advice would you give to someone who is like you were maybe 3 years ago, not feeling very physically well and unsure about how to handle that?
I think you need to really seriously think about what's the consequence of you not making that change. Like, can you sustain that life you're living? If you're the thing I always say to everybody is life's too short to do anything that makes you unhappy. Like, why on earth you've got one shot? Why would you want to leave it, miserable or settling? Kind of go out there, face your fears, whether that's just like, I don't know, going to the step aerobics class or doing a bungee jump. It doesn't matter. Like, you have to, I think, try and lead the fullest life you can. Work with what you've got. I mean, not everybody can go and swan off and travel. We have responsibilities, but it's not hard to make a little change to make yourself a little bit happier if you can. Yeah, so just do it. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
But have you got that on a t-shirt? That would be a good
I'm gonna add one of my hashtag t-shirts.
definitely. Oh, great. Well, and I guess where can we find you on social and websites and so on? I'll link so that everyone has it, but how can we reach
so
you?
I've got the website, which is www.kaliyoga.org.uk. I'm on Facebook as well, Kali Yoga 1, all one. And then I've got my own personal Instagram at Emily Evelyn as well. So I'm quite on the social media sphere, mainly Facebook. Everyone's on Facebook.
Everyone's on Facebook.
Yeah, there's probably like 2 people I know that aren't, and I'm just like, what?
And it sounds like, as you said, you have your sort of local business, and people are coming via word of mouth and so on. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I find it. Yeah, it doesn't matter what I do. They always find, and if people want to find you, they'll find you as well. Yeah, I've had a few private clients who've just found me online and obviously liked what I do, and yeah, that was quite nice. Like, oh, so they hadn't found me from word of mouth, so I know my social is working.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're doing really well. So congratulations. It sounds like it's happened, organically, but clearly you were doing a good job, and you're feeling good as a result, which is lovely to see.
Exactly. Yeah, I look completely. If you look at pictures of me from a few years ago, I look like, and I am inside. I'm a different person as well. So. Yeah. Oh, well, just be happy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I agree. Life is too short. You do want to kind of shout out from the rooftops, but yeah. Well, it's great to see, and that you're helping your little corner of the world as well to do the same.
So. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Emily, for sharing.
No worries.
It was really great.
Anytime.
Thank you.
See ya.